I am feeling a bit jittery in my seat. And why am I jittery? Because you see, you are bringing out some very fundamental humanistic issues to a continent that you have 99% being religious. Either they are in the church or they are in the mosque. Yes. Keeping of time, yes. Keeping my word. These are ethical principles. Exactly. So I am asking myself, if you have a continent that 99% are religious, yes. And as you know, even from Jacques Chirac's statement, yeah. They say that to be an African is to be religious. That means if you are an African, chances are that you either go to church or you're in the mosque or you have some sort of religious inclination in you. Now you are talking about some of the fundamental issues that has brought us back. Being timekeeping, keeping our word, and I'm sure there are a lot more that you can add. Exactly. So my question to you is, does religion have any role to play in our attempt to become the future of the world as a continent? Please take your time and illuminate us. I mean, just educate us on this. Give us those insightful.
The first part where you get religion really making things to come out and tell all of us that when you go to make financial independence in this planet, whether you're in Africa or anywhere else, it is important for you to be able to earn resources that are sustainable. If you're in Africa and you have been earning your sustenance through handouts, trouble. Ecclesiastes 10:19 says that when you go for a party, you laugh. When you taste wine, you become merry. But it concludes by saying, but money answers everything. In other words, there's something central about money. You can see the but came in the middle as they are completing the last part. The others were flowing casually. Then when the final one came, it says, but money. It answers everything. Absolutely. The day Africa begins to earn money on merit at the marketplace, it will have answered all its problems, its troubles, and all its pain. If Africa does not learn, if Africa does not learn how to earn money and also be able to now donate to the wanting nations, we're in trouble. Trouble. Because without money, first of all, your values, your ethics can be compromised. Without money, we can even come and tell you how to vote. Without money, we will even tell you that, please, next year, can you make sure that you put a section for this kind of a population that's coming to your country. So money gives you that muscle, that power, that staying stability to be yourself. Now the same book is saying somewhere in a Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6, it says, go to the black ant, you lazy person, and become wise. Because a black ant will wake up in the morning and does not need a supervisor, a ruler, to make it plan for the future and put aside resources to look after its future. God is telling you that self-drive, leadership is critical for your own continuity. This business of saying that somebody somewhere else is going to look after me will need you to get yourself to have a different Bible and a different Quran. Because by the time you are told, go to the insect, see how it leads its life and wakes up in the morning and is preparing and planning for the future, and it knows that should the flood come, this is how I will survive the flood. Did you know that these insects here, when the flood is as high as 1 meter, the insects are somewhere there. When the flood disappears, they come out. They come out. And God is telling us, go to the insect and learn and see how they don't need to be woken up. He says they have no ruler. They have no supervisor to wake them up. They just wake up themselves and just know that it's time to jointly go and look for a meal somewhere. And when they get a big meal, which requires 40 of them to lift it and bring it home, they don't go and eat it the other side. The corruption and the work ethics we're talking about. You are hungry. You have gotten a meal the other side. Don't eat it there. Start lifting it. Work on that thing until it reaches the store. Once it is at the store, go and look for another one. Work ethics. Africa needs to read the Bible in its fullness. Because here is a continent today, and I must say, it's a bit of good news, but also a bit of bad news. It's a continent where today we're thinking that if you are to solve the challenges and the poverty in the continent, more handouts. But here is the message. When you read the story of the talents, the fellow who made 5 to become 10 was thanked and promised more. Why? Because his capability went up. The fellow who had 2 and they became 4, given the same promise and same favor like the fellow who made 5 to become 10. The fellow who made 1 to remain 1 was abused, was kicked out to the darkness, and where there was pain and wailing. What am I driving at here? We need to reach a point where Africans realize that whatever resources you get through inheritance, because this is our continent, through handouts from government, if you have no ability to make those resources to expand, and that's the minimum yardstick, what you got yesterday has it expanded in your hands. Do you know what we normally say? I had school fees to pay. I had a relative who was sick. I used the resources. That story has no room for excuses. It's simply saying, look after all your needs, but I want the resource of yesterday to have expanded. Why? Anybody who accesses resources and has no ability to expand those resources must lose all the extra resources they received to the level of their ability or worse. Worse because the good book says, he who had little and could not expand the little, even the little they had, should be removed and given to the other party that had the ability to keep resources expanding. This continent must stop the easy way of looking at the Bible and the Quran and picking the easy verses. You know, God is saying, seek ye first my kingdom, and all else will be added. Then you go and fold your hands. How do you reconcile that with Proverbs 24 from verse 30 to 33, which says, I went around a garden of a lazy, stupid man, and I found it overgrown with weeds and thorns. And when I looked at it again, I said, oh my God, this lazy, stupid man is lazy and stupid. He also oversleeps, and when he's awake, he's folding his hands. He said, when he saw these 4 things, he said, I'm giving you number 5 to make sure that either you wake up or you're out of the planet. He said, I will send you poverty that will attack you like an armed robber. The continent is endowed. The continent is a place of opportunity. The continent is a place of riches. If we do not convert those resources into improving solutions for the globe, we must lose them. For now, today, we are taking ourselves to be slaves in other countries. There will come a time, investors from those countries will come and do it again here, and we will be taking any job. Whether you are being paid $10 a month, you take it. Do you know, for a politician, he will be simply saying, at least 99% of my people are employed, but at what price? It will happen right here, because God's principles are unbreakable. I gave you a resource. Have you improved it?